To create a new classroom, navigate to classroom.google.com, or in the top right corner, you can use the waffle icon to select Google Classroom from your apps. Once inside of Classroom, you can create a new classroom by using the plus sign in the top right corner and select Create Class. Name your classroom so that it's easy for your kids to identify your particular class. You may want to include the period number and the teacher's last name. Under Section, I recommend that you use this year's school dates so that you can distinguish this year's classes from last year's classes. Also, you may want to include a subject and a room number. Then click Create. Once you have created your classroom, you'll need to go in and change some settings for each class. In the top right corner, click the gear icon. Click the Edit pencil. If you would like to update the class name, add a description, update the section, room number, or subject. Remember to save any of those changes. In the general settings, you can use the drop-down arrow to display, copy, reset, or disable your class code. A quick way to have your students join your classroom is to display the class code. You can even go full screen with the display. It's very important that you go in and change the settings for your stream. The first option is that students can post and comment. Depending on the maturity level of your students and your goals for using the stream, you may want to let your students use the stream as a comment board or as a discussion forum. You can also opt to allow students only to be able to comment, or you can set it so that only teachers can post and comment in the stream. It's very important to note that you'll need to go in and change those stream permissions for each classroom that you have set up for your students. You can also change the settings so that the stream will display any deleted items and only the teachers can view those deleted items. You could also set up guardian summaries, but for now, we'll leave that turned off until we can have further training on how to set up the summaries for our guardians. Inside the main menu, there are additional classroom settings that you'll need to adjust. In the top left corner, click the hamburger icon or the main menu. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see some settings that will affect all of your classrooms. Inside of these settings, you can change your profile picture. This is the image that your students will see beside your Google Classroom. You could also change some account settings such as your password and security options. Below your profile settings, you have some email notification settings that you can change. If you do not wish to receive any email notifications from your Google Classrooms, you can turn email notifications off completely. However, you may want to receive some selected notifications from Classroom. In that case, you can go through and select which type of notifications you would like to receive in your Gmail. Below your notification options, you can use the drop-down menu and select which individual classrooms you would like to receive email notifications for. So I encourage you to use the email notifications to help manage your inbox in Gmail. To exit your settings, click the hamburger, scroll to the top, and go back to your classes or your home page. Inside this view, you'll also notice a couple more settings for each classroom. In the top right corner of each tile, there is a snowman icon that will allow you to move the classroom tile around, edit it. You can copy a classroom and archive. If you're not seeing the copy option, it's because you have not updated to the current version of Google Classroom. And to do that, you'll need to go inside of a classroom, click the question mark in the bottom left corner, and you'll see an option to add classwork page. Once you've added the classwork page, your Google Classroom will be updated and have all of the new features. Now that you've updated your classroom, you'll notice 3 tabs across the top: a Stream, Classwork, and People tab. We'll begin in the Stream. The Stream is your main or default page. Every time you open your Google Classroom, it will open up on the Stream tab. This is where announcements can be created. Any assignments or questions that you create will also show up here in the Stream. You can consider this as a conversation hub. This is very similar to a social media feed where everything that happens in your classroom appears here in chronological order. To start an announcement for your classroom, click in the box that says Share Something with Your Class. Then you can type your announcement. You can choose which classroom this announcement applies to. And inside of that classroom, you can decide which students to send the announcement to. You can also attach files from your hard drive, from your Google Drive, or from a web link. Remember that our students do not have access to YouTube videos at this time, but you may choose to attach a YouTube video for viewing outside of class. After you created the announcement, you can use the drop-down arrow to choose to post, schedule, or save as a draft. Also on the Stream tab, in the bottom right corner of your header, there's an About option that will give you some basic class info. Again, you have the option of displaying the classroom code to your students so that they can join your classroom quickly. The About section in your Stream is very basic and very different from the About tab that we used to have in the old version of Google Classroom. We'll talk more about how to address the Missing About tab when we get to the Classworks page. Also on the Stream, you can select a theme for your classroom, or you can choose to upload a personal photo from your hard drive or from Google Drive. The Classworks page is totally new for us. This is where you'll create everything for your classroom except for your announcements. We'll talk about how to create an assignment, question, material for your class, reuse a post, and add a new topic for your classroom. And we're going to talk about the best way to assign a Google form to your students. So let's begin with our assignment. Not much changed when we're creating the assignment. At the very top, you can use the drop-down menu to assign to multiple classes at once. You can also differentiate your assignments by using the drop-down menu beside your students and choosing which students will receive this assignment. I encourage you to be specific with your lesson title, including a lesson number, maybe the name of the lesson, and a standard that it's aligned to. There is an optional instructions section, so you could add some more instructions there. You can change the point value or use the drop-down to choose ungraded if you don't want this to be a graded assignment. Choose your due date. Anything that you select a due date for will appear on the student's Google Calendar. Adding a topic to everything that you post in Google Classroom is very important now that we have the Classworks page. Otherwise, your Classworks page is going to be a duplicate of the Stream, and it will just feature all of the activity in your classroom in chronological order, and students may have a hard time picking out assignments. So I strongly encourage you to assign a topic to everything you post in your classroom. Using the drop-down menu, you can choose a pre-existing topic, or you can create a new topic. Again, we have our attachment buttons, so we can attach a file from our hard drive, our Google Drive, YouTube, or a web link. It's important to note, anytime that you attach a file from your Google Drive, you'll get a preview of the file that you attached, and beside the preview, you'll have some options for your students. You can allow all students to view the same file, you can allow all students to edit the same file, or you can make an individual copy for each student. When you make a copy for each student, it automatically names the document for the students and organizes that file in their Google Drive. After you've created your assignment, use the drop-down arrow to either assign, schedule for the future, or save as a draft. One very important tip when assigning a Google form to your students. Make sure you're using the Google Drive button to make that assignment. Although it is possible to insert the link to the Google form, using the Google Drive button is the preferred way to assign a Google form. Click the Google Drive button, locate the desired form, and then add it to your Google Classroom. Once you've added the form to your Google Classroom, you'll notice a new feature that allows you to automatically import the grades from your Google form. Importing the grade will automatically limit each form to one response per user, collect the email addresses, and it restricts the responses to our school domain. Adding your form into Classroom using the Google Drive button allows you to easily view your Google form, view the responses, and view the assignment all in one place without having to dig through your Google Drive for the correct form. One of my favorite tools in Google Classroom that may be the most underutilized option is Create a Question. When you create a question, again, you have your options of choosing your class and your students. You would type your question in the top blank. Also, there's a place for optional instructions. You can determine your point value again, choose your due date, and very importantly, we're going to choose a topic. In this case, I want this question to be a bell ringer. Below your points, you can decide if this is going to be a short answer or a multiple choice. If you choose multiple choice, you would go in and edit each of your options. And as the students are submitting their responses, you'll get an immediate feedback in the form of a graph letting you know how many students chose each option. You can decide if your students can see a class summary. If you chose a short answer, then you can decide if the students can reply to each other or not, and you can allow the students to edit their answers after they've submitted. Using the drop-down menu, you can ask immediately, you can schedule, or save it as a draft. A new item in our Create menu is the material. Google added this option for those teachers who use the About tab in the old version of Classroom to upload things like their class syllabus or a testing schedule or any of that information that your students need to refer to throughout the school year. One thing to note about anything that is not assigned a topic is that they populate above your topics in chronological order. So that everything is easy to find, I encourage you to even add a topic to your material list. You may want to create a topic called Classroom Resources. In the Create menu, you also have the option to reuse a post. If you choose this option, you'll first select the class that the post that you want to reuse exists in. Inside of that classroom, you'll select the post that you want to reuse. Uncheck Create New Copies of All Materials so that you don't have repeated copies of the same documents in your Google Drive, and click Reuse. And now you're ready to reuse that post, but it's in edit mode so that you can make any necessary updates before assigning it into your new classroom this year. In your Create menu, you can also create a new topic to help you keep your classwork page organized and efficient. Beside each topic, you'll notice the snowman icon in the top right. Here's where you can go in and rename. If that topic name is not working for you, you can rename it. You can delete a topic. If you delete the topic, it does not delete the lessons that are attached to that topic. It just gets rid of the topic itself. Then the lessons would be listed above all of your topics in chronological order. You have the option to copy the link to the topic, or you can move the topic up or down on your Classworks page, but be aware it is one move at a time. Before you start creating your topics, you may want to think about how you would like to organize your Classworks page. There are many ways to organize these topics. I am including a link to a blog post by Casey Bell, who offers some suggestions on how to organize your topics. She makes suggestions of using units, or maybe organizing by the week of, or organizing by the type of assignment, by subject area, and maybe even having a topic called Today. If you would like to read more about different ways to organize your topics, please click the link that's provided here. Also of note on the Classworks page is a link to your Google Calendar for this classroom. Your students have that link as well. Also, if you click the folder icon, it'll take you directly to your Google Drive folder that is created for this classroom. Inside that folder, everything that is submitted to you, or in the case of a student, everything that they submit, is organized and labeled. Click this folder icon and it'll take you directly into your Google Drive where everything for this classroom is stored. On the People tab in your classroom, you can invite co-teachers into your classroom or content-alike teachers to add a little collaboration. One thing to be aware of when you're adding other teachers, they can do everything in your classroom except delete the classroom. They can view the student work, they can grade student work, and they can assign student work. Under Students, you can see all the students that have joined your classroom. If you select a student, under the Actions menu, you can choose to email an individual or a group of students. You can remove a student who maybe has withdrawn but didn't leave your classroom. Or if you are trying to have a classroom discussion and you have students that are not contributing appropriately, you can mute those students so that all the other students can continue the conversation. You'll also notice when you hover over your students' names that the names are linked. If you click that link, It will open up a list of all of that student's assignments. And on the right-hand side, you can tell the status of that assignment. On the left-hand side, you have filters. You can filter by those assignments that are turned in, those that are returned with a grade, and those that are missing. This is a quick way to filter the missing assignments. Then you can take a snapshot and email that to your students so that they can be reminded of any missing work. The new grading tool in Classroom allows teachers to grade work more efficiently in Google Classroom. To get to the new grading tool, open an assignment that your students have submitted. Once inside of the grading window, you can select the first student's work, which opens up in a new tab. In the main viewing window, you see the work that the student has submitted. On the right-hand side, you'll see the files that have been turned in, and if you would like to open this assignment in its own window, you can click that Open in Window icon. Here you can record the grade, and it also shows you the previous grade if this work has been resubmitted for regrading. If you click on the 3 vertical dots, you can change the total number of points that the assignment is worth. You can add private comments to the student, or you can highlight, then add a comment to the student's work. If you would like to add a comment from your comment bank, you'll start the comment with the hashtag or the pound symbol, and then all of the comments that you have saved in your comment bank will open up, and you can just select from the list and click comment so that the student will be able to see your comment and feedback. Let's talk about how you can add comments in your comment bank so that you're not repeating yourself on each student's paper. To add a comment in the comment bank, click on Comment Bank, Add to Bank, and then type in your comment. And it says to add multiple comments by starting a new line. So after the first comment, I'll hit Enter and then add another. Add those to my comment bank, and now they're available anytime that I'm grading any student's work in any classroom. To navigate to the next student, you can use the drop-down arrow, and all of your students will be listed here, or you can use the previous and next options if you would like to advance in order. In the top right, you can return each student's work individually, or you can go back into the classroom, select all of your students, and return at once. One helpful tip that was provided by blogger Alice Keeler was to bookmark each classroom individually on the Classworks page. As stated earlier, when you go into your Google Classroom, it will automatically open up to your stream. Most of us will be working on the Classworks page. So to save yourself several steps to get to the Classworks page, you can add a bookmark that goes directly to your Classworks page for each classroom that you have. So for instance, when I click my bookmark, it automatically opens to my Classworks page. However, if I have to open Google Classroom the old-fashioned way, I have to go to the waffle, open Classroom, choose my class, and then go to the Classworks page. To bookmark the Classworks page, click the star that's at the end of the URL address. Rename the bookmark just with the period number, and make sure you're adding it to your bookmarks bar so that it is very handy. And click Done. Once you have it on your bookmark bar, you can grab the bookmark and drag and drop it in any order that you would like.